wait is over. Something's coming.
After years of sitting abandoned in the park, Gwazi, the dueling wooden roller coaster at the middle of Busch Gardens, would turn into a new beast. Something even bigger, faster, and taller than before. As Florida got its first ever RMC roller coaster, one question was asked constantly: is it now the best roller coaster in Florida?
4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Iron Gwazi.
Rocky Mountain Construction changed the roller coaster industry when they introduced the first I-box track on the Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas in 2011. The new, never-before-seen design would give new life to the aging, troubled wooden roller coaster that was becoming difficult to maintain and expensive. Many parks were tearing them down to make way for something else, but the I-box track would over time prove there was another option. The I-box track was born in 2008, the idea of RMC founder Fred Grubb and coaster designer Alan Schilke. After Six Flags took a gamble and hired them to rebuild the Texas Giant, the new Texas Giant was an instant success, and the company quickly proved they were able to use the existing structure and foundations from old troubled rides to create a new version. Every element of what was there before would be taken to the next level, with steep drops, fast overbank turns, more airtime, and a much smoother experience, while still retaining the spirit of the original. The Iron Horse treatment for the ride created one of the world's best roller coasters, from something that not many people would even care to ride anymore. After the ride's successful conversion into a hybrid coaster featuring wooden supports and steel track, Six Flags would commission the small company to do the same on Fiesta Texas's Rattler. The company's size grew quickly to accommodate the request for new rides, and so did their lineup of attractions. The Iron Rattler once again took what stood there before and gave it new life, steeper, taller, and more thrilling than ever before. It will be the company's first converted coaster with an inversion. Every newly converted coaster that the company built took the thrills to the next level. All huge, intertwining, twisted colossuses of a roller coaster with brand new layouts full of uniqueness, sending riders into a twisted cyclone of elements. The company had grown massively and were an instant success. Every park wanted an RMC. Every fan of coasters hoped for one to open near their park, and each time one did open, it was constantly called the best yet. Within years, RMC had taken the industry by storm and were chasing bigger and better rides. Still, Vengeance at Cedar Point would be the company's biggest, most exciting conversion yet, and again, riders loved it. RMC had the formula to create roller coaster hits. Each converted hybrid was completely unique, keeping the spirit of the ride, yet bringing it into the future, showing the coaster's untamed raw potential. In Tampa, Florida, two huge dueling wooden roller coasters sat standing but not operating since their permanent closure in 2015. The half tiger, half lion, Gwazi, built by Great Coasters International, were the manufacturer's third ever project that opened in 1999. It very much had a love-hate relationship with those riding it in the later years. Once an icon of the park, promising the best family thrills on a coaster, it steadily got rougher and rougher over the years, with some even calling it a joke. While Gwazi was certainly a beast, the park continued to try and make it smoother to reach the heights of success that it had when it opened, but nothing seemed to work, and its reputation was damaged to the point that whoever you asked about the ride commented about its roughness. In 2011, the original PTC trains for the ride were replaced with 4 GCI Millennium Flyer trains to try and help the experience. But that reputation of the ride, the high maintenance costs, and decline in ridership had sealed its fate. In 2012, just a year later, the Tiger side of the dueling roller coaster closed forever. In early 2015, the Lion joined it. The future of the site was uncertain. As the 2 huge coasters sat above, their twisted timbers dominating the skyline, they remained abandoned in the middle of the park, used only for howlo-screen. One rumor that continued to circulate, in fact, more than a rumor, a hope, for many, was that Gwazi would not be torn down, that its legacy would continue in a new form as an RMC converted hybrid coaster, the first in Florida, and the first for the SeaWorld company. While it seemed unlikely to happen, could, and if it did, it would be incredibly successful. Many began to wish for it, even obsessed that Busch Gardens would get this white whale of a coaster. It's Hakuge. Yeah, I got that one in there. The hype increased in March 2018 when trademarks were found alongside the name Tigress for the potential 2019 attraction. The other names filed were Uproar and Twisted Tiger. The use of the name Twisted in roller coaster names, specifically RMC coasters, have been used multiple times on remade RMC hybrid coasters, and hinted perhaps it could be the name of an RMC Gwazi. One of the tracks was originally called Tiger. In reality, Busch Gardens had often filed multiple name options with trademarks in the park, so while a coincidence in naming, the trademark was not related to Gwazi. The ride would turn out to be a premier ride Skyrocket 2. It did, however, cement the hype that perhaps an RMC coaster could happen, and it's doubtful this went unnoticed by the park. Many people still hoped for an RMC Gwazi. What it could be had huge potential, perhaps 2 dueling coasters, a Mobius loop maybe, or really anything could rise from the massive wooden structures at the center of the park. The reality that it would actually happen though was extremely unlikely. It would be seen as a surprise if the park would invest the amount of money required to bring it to Florida, and most sources stated that Gwazi would in fact be torn down. Others thought it couldn't happen because of a myth that wooden coasters don't fare well in Florida, which is actually not true. Some stated that while a conversion had originally been considered when the ride closed, the plans had been halted. Instead, it was said that the ride would be torn down and replaced with a permanent outdoor amphitheater, likely to replace the nearby temporary Gwazi stage. This could then be used for events and separately ticketed concerts. The rumors of its full removal continued, with reports stating that the park had gotten estimates for the demolition of the ride. Another rumor even stated that the park was going to offer the ride to film studios to blow it up or destroy it for film footage, as long as the production company removed it after. Small selections of wood for the attraction were already used to revamp multiple gift shops around the company's park, and its conversion was looking less and less likely. When one of the howlo-scream haunted houses using the ride station as part of the attraction was confirmed not to be returned in the following year, the hype and hope began to ramp up again. About a week before the park made the announcement for Tigress, paint started appearing on a large number of Gwazi's abandoned footers. At the Tigress media event in September 2018, project manager Andrew Schaefer said one line that would confirm that something was happening.
So, we wanted to make this a little bit of a hybrid attraction announcement for today. So, not only are we giving you information about 2019, we wanted to give you a little bit something about 2020. So, I can't give you all of the details yet, but from Gwazi's existence, it's always been a little bit of a rocky ride. So we decided we're going to go ahead and revamp Gwazi into a new attraction. Now, I can't give you any more information than that, but I can tell you that you're going to be holding on to your seats.
These lines sent the hype train into overdrive. The hopes that this really was going to happen was about to become a reality. Shortly after, permits were filed for portions of the existing structure and related buildings to be demolished. It was later updated to show the contractor would be Rocky Mountain Construction, the first confirmation that it would in fact see the iconic wooden coaster turned into the state's first RMC. Gwazi would be reborn anew. Over the next few months, more and more of the original structure was demolished. After years of being sat unmaintained and abandoned, much of the ride would not be able to be used for its conversion. While no official word about what was happening to the ride had been said by the park, it was clear to anyone who looked that the large ride being taken down would become an RMC. On March 1st, 2019, Busch Gardens Tampa kicked off its 60th anniversary celebration. While the event would feature a concert and fireworks, it would be the announcement of this new ride that would cause the biggest stir. Busch Gardens was bringing North America's tallest, the world's steepest and fastest hybrid coaster the following year, in 2020. While the full stats were not given, it was expected to be a ride so fast that it felt like you were an outlaw on the run. Next to the remaining wooden supports of the original ride, a yellow hype balloon was raised to show just how tall the park's newest roller coaster would be. While only these 3 records were given, in order to be the tallest in North America, it would have to have been over the 205 feet of Steel Vengeance. It would turn out the ride would be 206 feet tall, one more, and the exact same height as the tallest RMC in the world, Zadra, at Energylandia.
So when we closed Gwazi originally, we knew we wanted to take this area of the park and really transform it into something new and special. Yeah. It did take a couple of years for us to really start talking with our friends and colleagues at RMC, and we just sort of landed on, oh my gosh, this would be just an amazing, amazing attraction. So we actually have a gentleman who works in our corporate office. His name is Jonathan Smith, and Jonathan, this was his sort of inspiration, and he was basically begging to make this coaster happen. And so big ode tribute to Jonathan, who was the final person who talked us into this. But we couldn't be more thrilled. So taking Gwazi, taking those original sort of roots of Gwazi, adding this whole new RMC element, and that's actually where we even came up with the name Iron Gwazi. It just seemed to be a natural attraction.
Demolition of the former Gwazi continued at a rapid pace, creating a wicked cyclone of wood removal, even while the park's latest roller coaster Tigress was being finished up. The park's original rendering for the attraction makes the lift hill look like it would be wooden, but RMC Gwazi's final lift hill is made of steel and completely new. None of either of the original lifts were used. Around 25% of the original wooden structure of Gwazi was used, and around 75% of its foundations. The majority of the new ones were those used for the lift hill. While the original coaster had 2 dueling tracks, the new version would just be 1 single coaster. The park later stated this was done to keep down costs and offer one brilliant experience.
So we've been talking and kicking around the idea for RMC Gwazi for a long time, even before we closed the attraction. So it's been floating for a while. We just never really pursued it up until now. But it's always been kicking around. We've always been kind of traveling around, testing out and seeing what the rides are like. But now just seemed like the right time to go ahead and pull the trigger, get this awesome new attraction into our park, and everybody seems to be really excited about it.
The trademark for the ride's name was found shortly after, and the official announcement on September 12, 2019, nearly a year after the conversion had been hinted at. It will be called Iron Gwazi. Most assume that the original creature created by the park for the first ride, half lion and half tiger, would return. Turns out it wouldn't, and the new ride would have a brand new theme. We actually have some footage from the moment the new beast took over to exclusively share. In the jungle of Busch Gardens, the Gwazi would reign supreme. After many years, a new challenger approached. In the jungle emerged a crocodile, ready to snap. He said, "Get out my way, Gwazi. You're too rough and nobody likes you." And he fired lightning from his fingertips, destroying the once iconic beast. The new king was here. He would be the Iron Gwazi. Iron Gwazi would feature a bright purple track with crocodile green themed trains, which were revealed at IAAPA. Track work was completed on March 8, 2020. After many years sat abandoned, Gwazi was reborn into a new beast. Iron Gwazi was getting ready to open and testing began. Excitement for the new attraction was at an all-time high, ready to experience the most thrilling roller coaster in Florida.
My fellow Americans, tonight I want to speak with you about our nation's unprecedented response to the coronavirus outbreak.
In March 2020, due to the global pandemic, Busch Gardens Tampa closed to help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Since mid-March, screams of excitement or terror have been silenced at theme parks like Busch Gardens Tampa Bay, closed to slow the spread of coronavirus.
Testing on the park's new converted roller coaster was halted, and the park's future was uncertain.
Having to wait a couple extra months for the opening of Iron Gwazi surely has been tough for roller coaster enthusiasts. And while Busch Gardens has not yet set a target date for when they hope to reopen, they hinted that it is coming soon.
The SeaWorld company halted payments on all their upcoming attractions due to its uncertain future for the parks and the huge loss of income they were experiencing. After the parks reopened, all upcoming under construction attractions were confirmed to be delayed until 2021, when the park hoped when they would be in a better position to open them. As spring 2021 came and went, the parks again delayed the attractions, and it was now listed with an anticipated opening of March 2022. While a select few employees and workers for the ride experienced the attraction, and the park released a POV, if Iron Gwazi would ever open to the public became somewhat of a running joke. Multiple people suggested that the hype for the attraction was gone, and that nobody really cared about Iron Gwazi anymore, as it sat there finished yet unopened. Of course, those very same people would completely change their mind when it was announced that the ride would open on March 11th, 2022, 2 years after originally planned.
The wait is almost over. Welcome to the opening celebration of the most highly anticipated roller coaster, Iron Gwazi. It is our pleasure to welcome you to Busch Gardens tonight, where you can experience the thrill of the world's fastest, steepest hybrid roller coaster and the tallest hybrid roller coaster in North America.
Covering the same 8 acres of land that once was home to the Busch Brewery, Iron Gwazi reuses the incredible station building whose roofs were originally built by Zulu tribesmen. The station area was updated and given a fresh look, brighter than ever. After entering the queue, you can read and learn from the educational elements talking about crocodiles and the park's conservation efforts. After jumping into one of the 2 RMC crocodile-themed trains, the ride heads out of the entrance, previously used for the tiger side of Gwazi. The lion side can still be clearly seen, which, when in the station, the floor is differently coloured and an opening where it used to exit. If you look up into the artwork in the station, you may even spot a nod to the original Gwazi creature. After a left turn, the train climbs up the 206-foot lift hill and begins the 91 degrees, 206-foot drop. Reaching its max speed of 76 miles per hour. The ride climbs up a hill and makes an overbanked left turn before another left turn into the barrel roll down drop, which has been nicknamed the death roll thanks to the crocodile spinning killing method used by the animal. This element really comes out of nowhere as you fly down through the structure and into the overbanked turn over the station. Another incredible moment. This is then followed by a zero-G stall as the train makes its way back towards the station. Iron Gwazi is relentless from the very first drop to the end of the layout, surprising you each moment of its 4,075 feet of track. Every single element feels like it's trying to throw you from the train, which is full of airtime, and most people come back to the station frozen like stone as if Medusa had looked at them, still trying to comprehend what just happened. After a media day, many pass holder previews and special events, Iron Gwazi officially opened on March 11th, 2022, with a ribbon-cutting ceremony with park president Neil Furman. The first official train was sent out at a special dedication ceremony on March 10th, with the first riders being Tampa hospital workers who have been working on the front lines during the pandemic. While opening 2 years later than planned, Iron Gwazi was worth the wait. It is one of the best roller coasters not just in Florida, but in the world, full of airtime and a must-do for any roller coaster fan on a trip to Central Florida. Gwazi had been brought back to life, a ride that could have nearly been torn down. There is some debate about whether it is right for an old classic coaster to be rebuilt with steel, but Iron Gwazi is just proof that not only do the conversions create incredible roller coasters, they honor what has come before and bring new life to rides that would ultimately have been forgotten and scrapped completely. When you take your ride on Iron Gwazi, make sure you look up before you return to the station and see a tribute to the lion and tiger trains of old, which without Iron Gwazi would never exist. If you would like to learn more about the history of the original ride, please check out our recent expedition dedicated to it. As I said in that, the original Gwazi coaster was said to be a response to the upcoming Dueling Dragons at Islands of Adventure. What was originally a battle of two mythical creatures, dragons and lion-tiger hybrids, now is a battle of two very real creatures, raptors and crocodiles. So, is Iron Gwazi the best roller coaster in Florida? One question has been asked over and over and over to those who have ridden Central Florida's newest and most exciting roller coasters. And that is, which is better, Iron Gwazi or Velocicoaster? The answer is simple. Neither of them is better than the other. Both roller coasters offer something completely different, both thrilling, both fun. And I can only encourage you to ride them both and enjoy them for what they are, some of the best coasters in the whole world. People will always have their preference of which one they enjoy more. As with everything, it is completely subjective. There was a time that roller coaster fans turned their nose up at Florida for its somewhat lackluster offerings of coasters, but that time is long gone. For coasters, the state is now seen as a true force of innovative rides, one that will continue. Having both of these coasters within just a few hours of each other is the best of both worlds. And the exciting future of theme parks, coasters, and attractions in Florida has never been as exciting. Just like I expect many of you, I can't wait to see what comes next. Oh, I guess you still want to know which one I prefer? Well, out of Iron Gwazi and Velocicoaster, I prefer... Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Theme Park. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to join the expedition. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram for updates on upcoming episodes, and a special thank you to our Patreons for supporting the channel. We will see you next time.